You make it like a game. This is gamifying your life. You are that character in that computer game, going through life on different missions, on this legendary journey, on your path. Race drivers, welcome to the Race Driver Coach Show from a hotel room, not on the way back from, not during, or not on the way to a race weekend for once. I've just come to visit the family, come to see my dad, get to see him once or twice a year. So that's why I'm from a hotel room, coming back to the UK soon. And I thought, actually, today, I was like, what am I going to do this show on? This episode, what can I talk about today that's really valuable? And due to the way the calendar is in F1, it made me think that it's really cool, actually, because drivers, they make a mistake on any given Sunday, right? At a race weekend, an almighty one. They drop a clanger, they underperform, they embarrass themselves, whatever they do. And it's not long until the next race weekend, probably 1-2 weeks. You know, you got the August break in the middle and things like this, but quite often it's within days you're at the next track and you can rectify what you've done. As long as you don't drag the last race weekend into this weekend and it just keeps spiraling and you go onto a mental journey that's not worth talking about right here. But if you approach this in the right way, you can see all these 24 weekends that these drivers do in F1, you can see them as resets. So by the time you've got Thursday, you know, you can dwell on it Monday if you want. By the time Thursday comes, your head is already completely, it'd be before Thursday, but Thursday at the latest, completely in the game of that weekend. How do we win this weekend? It's got different rules here, different tarmac, different surface, different tires, different configuration. It's like a whole new game to play. So you can have that mental reset. Yes, the media bring back the weekend before and ask you, tell us more. How are you feeling now about it? They try and stir it up, of course, but you just pay lip service. They're used to it. You just give the normal robotic answer because you have reset mentally and you want to think about what's next. This is what I think everybody should do in life because there's only 20 F1 race drivers, right? So I can't talk to just them. It's taking the lessons or the things I can learn from F1 to give it to you and having that reset of next. What can I focus on now, no matter what I've just done or what's happened recently or in the past? And bring in the mind to how am I going to win this game that I'm in right now, that I'm just coming up towards. And for you, it might be a Monday. It's a new week. This is my reset. Not wait until January 1st to have this reset and resolutions. How about having resolutions a lot more often? Just like the F1 driver, you've got the next race weekend coming up. That's where my focus is now. I'm going to learn from what I've just done. I'm going to learn from the great things I just did in the last race weekend to apply them next time out. Focus is there. Next. You've heard me say now and next over and over again. It's a mental strategy that I use for drivers, that plenty of people use for drivers, to be honest, that when something's happened at turn 12, how do I get my focus back so I can concentrate on what's ahead and not dragging the past with me? I'm not worrying about things. It's next. It's like turn 13's coming, dickhead. Come on, focus on what you've got to do there. Position the car, full width on the entry. You're going to use the white line. In you go. Great. You're back in the now. You're back in the now and next. How can you do that in life? How can you do that right now? So there's less worry about past or future. It's more like bring in the mind onto what's got to be done now. And when I say now and next, it's like immediately next, because you've got to give it some direction, right? Don't want to be too far ahead. It's like, what's the next thing I can actually influence? That's where my focus is. Okay, what have I got to do now about it? Bring your mind there as often as you possibly can, multiple times in the day. Especially say if you've had a really good start of the day, the first 2 hours, you've totally knocked it out the park, you've had a really productive 2 hours, and then you start to go down. The focus starts to wane and you start scrolling on your phone. You start to feel like you need some kind of stimulus. Maybe I need a coffee again to bring myself up. You know, that lull. Yeah, have 5 minutes of that lull. Let the brain sort of switch off a little bit, of course, half an hour even. But then it's like, right, bring it back. What have I got to do to win the next 2 hours? What can I do possibly to maximize those 2 hours? Straight, just asking that question, you'll come up with a list and you'll start to execute and you're back in the game. A bit longer, if you've had a bad day, it's a day that's taught you quite a lot. A day that you can learn from and take from. How do you start the next day as a reset? I do it specifically, honestly, with one single commitment. And it's this app that I'm building as well, by the way. I've done it for myself, really, but I'm going to share it with other people. It's how can I win today? If there's just one thing in today that I could do that would be a win, you make it like a game. This is gamifying your life. You are that character in that computer game, going through life on different missions, on this legendary journey, on your path. It's how can today be made into a mission, and if I accomplish it, I'll be like high-fiving myself in the mirror, like, good day. So I start with that. What's the one thing? And it could be external. It could be an action. It could, if you're a coach, it could be like, how can I sign one client? Something like that. If it's a race driver, how can I start a conversation with a sponsor? How can I motivate? If I could do one thing today that would be great, it would be motivate the team, get them back on my side, because I fell out with them last weekend and I've got to bring them all back together. Or, that's external actions. It could be internal. It could be like, I'm going to be confident today. I want to get to the end of today and look back and say, you know what? That was Mr. or Mrs. Confident right there. That's what I want to be every single day. That could be your target. And I think it's quite nice to have this little game every day and set it up like, this is my goal. And you might not achieve it, by the way. Then you have the to-dos underneath. And then you actually log the moments. So, just to remember for the next day, like, I did it for an hour. I stayed locked in. I was writing my book. I did nothing. I switched my phone off. I was there. That's success. Just doing 1 hour a day on whatever it is that is really important for you. But I think if you can just design these days, so you kind of set them up to win, and it's a bit like a game. If you don't, like, damn it. Or you get to the end of it and you go harder the next day, or you make sure you execute the next day. Or if you get to the end of the week, you look back and there's 7 days in a week, you're like, right, the score this week was 4-3. 4, I executed perfectly. 3, I didn't. I underperformed, I got lazy, or I just missed. I tried, but I missed. That's still a success, really. But you give yourself a score. If you could get 7-0, it'd be amazing, of course, but that's the scoring system in the game. So I really do want you to gamify life, because we can take it way too seriously. And not just that, when you take it too seriously, you often don't progress. And just to explain that more, I can talk to drivers in 2015, say, don't know why I just picked that date, and then talk to them in 2017, 2 years later, and they're still moaning about the same things. They're still saying, I couldn't get a sponsor this year. And I'm thinking, you didn't change your tact. You didn't just go for a club race that anybody can afford. Let's be honest, if you're in a certain country, say if you're in England and somebody's telling me for 2 years solid they haven't found sponsorship, and I know you can race for less than 20K, so come on, get off your backside, earn the 20K and go bloody racing. No excuse. And this is the thing, when you don't set your day up with these bricks that you build your future with, which are these wins. How can I win today? How can I set it up like a game? If you don't do that, you're just going to be treading water in life. That's going to mean you're going to end up unhappy, unfulfilled, and you're going to get to the end and think, I just wasted all that time. So even though this is a very direct and short and honest and uncut, no edited video, I want you just to remember this one lesson I've said today. And that is, the question is, how can I set today up to win?